So see here friends, the next very important thing is there could be some exceptions which remains uncaught, that is we will not be able to catch these things. So before we start learning how to handle all our exceptions in our programs, it is very important to see when you don't handle them. You should understand when we cannot handle them. Okay. So let us see this small program wherein you are causing a divide by 0 error. So if you can observe this small program here, so you can see here there is a divide by 0 error. Okay. So why there is a divide by 0 error? So d is equal to 0, fine, and a is equal to 42 divided by d. So what is the value of d here? It is 0. It is 0. So when you run this code, the Java runtime systems detects this attempt that you are trying to divide it by 0, and it constructs an exception object and throws that exception. So this causes the exception of EX0 to stop. So whenever this code runs, what will happen? Your Java runtime system, it will detect the error. After detecting the error, it will throw that error. And it will print a statement saying that there is divide by 0. Okay. So then what will happen is the execution of your EX0 will stop. So because once any exception has been thrown, it must be caught by your exception handler, and we should deal with it as soon as possible. Okay. So in this example, whatever the example we are seeing right now, we have not added any of the exceptional handlers. Okay. Whatever it is being done, it is done by the Java runtime system itself. We are not writing any code so that it should be caught. Okay. So any exception that is not caught by our program will be processed by the default handler. So always remember, there is a default handler in your Java runtime system who will handle such exceptions. So when the default handler handles such exceptions, you can see that this is what the output you will be getting. So this is the exception which is generated when you run this example. So it is telling us here, please try to understand, we'll try to understand what actually is this exception which we are getting. So see here, the first thing is it is telling us the class name. So it is exe0. It is exe0. Now next thing is inside exe0, where is my error occurring? So my error is occurring inside main, inside the file name main. Next, inside main, what is my file name? What can be my file name? We usually say our file name is what now? It is we put it with the prefix .java. You remember it. We use the prefix .java to save our file. We have seen in all our previous 3 modules. We have executed all the codes. So we have seen how to save our files. How to save our files? Using the .java extension. So, and one more thing. How do we save our files? What is the general naming convention which we use to save our files? Using our class name. So we have a class name, and using the class name we will be trying to store the thing. Okay, give me 1 second. I am receiving a call from my head. 1 second. Yeah. So see here. So we were discussing how our exceptions are handled by the Java runtime itself. Okay. So please concentrate. So where is the error now? It is first it comes as first is the class name. So exe0 is the class name. Inside class name, where our error has occurred? Inside main. Okay. So inside main is our class. Next thing is, what is the file name? So the file name we have is exe0.java. exe0.java. We already know that what is the naming convention? It is the naming convention. There is no rule that our names must be the same way. So a naming convention we have been using is all our file names will be the same name, which is the class name. So you can see here exe0. It is the class name. Okay. So that is done. Next, on which line our error is occurring? So you can see here the error which is occurring is on the line 4. It is occurring at line 4. So all these notices are included. Next thing is, it is also trying to tell us that it is of which type. It is the error which is being thrown, which belongs to which subclass. Okay, there are two classes, right? See, there are two classes. One is exception and another one is error. So you can observe here, it is trying to tell us that it is of the subclass exception. It is of the subclass exception. See here, we have also taken the example also. Okay, so it is of the subclass exception. And what is the name of that exception? It is an arithmetic exception. There is an arithmetic error. You can see here, there is an arithmetic error. So that arithmetic error is given by your arithmetic exception. Okay, now next thing is what now? It is what is the name of the error. You can see here, the name of the error is divide by 0. You can see here, this sign, it denotes that it is divide and you are dividing by 0. So I hope this gives us a very clear picture where is my error occurring and what is happening. Okay, so you can see here, notice that the type of exception thrown is a subclass of exception and the name of that subclass is arithmetic exception. Okay, so this typically tells us, this in a very clear way tells us that what type of error has happened. Okay, so the stack trace, whatever this error is coming, it is called as stack trace. So the stack trace will always show the sequence of method invocation that led up to the error. So it also tells us what is the sequence in which we are implementing our methods, and in the same way it will be showing the errors. Okay, so this is very important, friends. Next, we'll make a try. We'll make a small changes now. So here in this example, this is another version of the previous example, and here we'll introduce the same error but in a method separate from main. So what did we do here, friends? We have written that error inside the main itself. You can see here, this error which is occurring is within main, right? Now what we'll do, we will create a separate method. We'll create a separate method and there we will try to show the error. So you can see here in this class, the name of the class is exe1. Now we have created a method called as subroutine. We have created a method called as subroutine, and there we are getting the error. You can observe here, d is equal to 0, a is equal to 10 divided by d. So the value of d is what now? 0. Okay, so here the error is occurring. Next, inside main we are calling that subroutine. See, it is the name of the class using the dot operator. Inside class, what you want now? You want only this method, which is the subroutine method. Okay, that we are calling. So when you execute this program, this is the stack trace which will come. Okay, now this is again from the default exception handler. Using default exception handler only, this whole stack trace displayed. There is nothing which the user has written. There is nothing which has been manually done. It has been all done with the help of the Java runtime itself. So you can observe here, friends. Let us try to understand what is happening here. So the bottom in the end of the stack, you can see here. You can see here, it is executing in where now? It is executing in mains line 7. See here, friends. Please observe. It is executing in mains line 7. So mains line 7 means what now? Just go on counting the lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here, when you call this subroutine, you are getting an error. That is what it is trying to tell. Now, please go ahead and try to read the next line. It is trying to also tell us that where is that exception happening. It is happening at line 4. It is happening at line 4. See here, friends. Where is that line 4? 1, 2, 3 and 4. Here. Here you are dividing a number by 0. So that means what now? Please, very clearly it is telling that it is first it is detecting at line 7. Next, it will go to your line 4. Yeah, and here you can see what is the error which is happening. The error which is happening is divide by 0. Okay, so the call stack, whatever you can see, is very useful for debugging because it tells us precisely at what step the error has happened. Like you can see here, first thing is it will take us to the point where here. Next, it will tell us that the main error is here. Okay, it will also tell us what is the type of the error. It is an arithmetic exception and it is divided by 0. Okay, so there are several built-in exception types that match the various sorts of runtime errors that can be generated. Okay, so using your built-in exception types, we'll try to these built-in exception types will try to map exactly to the runtime errors which are getting generated. Okay. So these are some of the uncaught exceptions, and these are caught by your Java runtime itself. Okay. So I hope in today's class it's very clear that how the errors are read. Okay, it is telling us, say for example, till now we would understand that it is divided by 0 and we would search here. But henceforth you also know that in which subclass it falls. In which subclass it falls, whether it falls in your exception subclass or whether it falls in your error subclass. Okay, so this is all regarding your uncaught exceptions.